Say you want to take a break and you're online looking for a hotel and you find two choices at your chosen destination. One is a 5-star hotel and the other one doesn't have a rating. And the weird thing is they're exactly the same price. You're going to go for the 5-star hotel, aren't you? Of course you are, because you're going to expect a higher quality of service. To me, if I think of the term 5-star, I think of the highest possible quality. I think of 5-star hotels, I think of 5-star restaurants. It means the best possible. But to the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, it means something else. Money. Cha-ching! Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? My name's James and welcome to Divers Ready, back once again for yet another Mouthpiece Monday. On this channel, I share my expertise and passion as a professional diving instructor to help make you a better and more well-informed diver. So if you love scuba diving as much as I do, consider to make your next dive on that subscribe button, click the little diving bell icon, and you'll never miss any of our content. Before we jump into today's topic, I got 3 really quick pieces of news for you from us here at Divers Ready. Number 1, something absolutely awesome happened this week, and that is I got my favorite dive buddy back. My wife Karina, who just 6 months ago had major spine surgery, has made an incredible recovery, all due to her strength and her commitment to her rehabilitation. Last Monday, she was given the all clear by her surgeon that she can get back in the water and start scuba diving again. So on Wednesday, we drove down to Key Largo and we did a really simple shallow dive, and we were rewarded with spotted eagle rays. I mean, it was incredible. Second thing I want to say is just a huge thank you to everyone who watched the Dive Instructor Ranked Specialty Courses video. That was our biggest hit so far as a video, and it really stirred up a debate. A lot of you absolutely loved the video, and a lot of you absolutely hated it, and that's totally fine too. The whole point of this channel and what we're trying to do here is encourage debate. And the third thing I have to tell you, I've been hinting that there's big news coming, and I can finally tell you that we have formed a content partnership with Scuba Diver Magazine. This means that there's going to be a bigger audience for the Divers Ready content. We're going to be sharing it across all of their digital platforms, and we're also going to be creating exclusive content for Scuba Diver Magazine's YouTube channel, which you will only be able to see there. So if you haven't done so already, I'm going to put a link to their channel in the description of this video. The only way you're going to be able to see all the content we put out is if you head to that link, click their subscribe button, show them some love, and that way you'll get to see everything that we're doing. And we have so many big ideas for videos coming. Okay, on to today's topic. What the PADI 5-star dive resort designation, 5-star dive center, 5-star instructor development center, what does that 5-star mean to PADI, and what should it mean to you, the scuba diving public? Now, PADI has a ton of different designations that they award to different types of diving operator based on the services that they provide. Added to that, they're also coming up with all these kind of in-house awards that they award to only PADI dive centers. You kind of got to question the value there. To my knowledge, no other training agency does this. And in addition, there are no PADI 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, or 4-star awards. So when you say 5 stars, it's like 5 out of what? Is it 5 out of 10? But as I said in my intro, the use of 5 stars to me means a promise of better quality or better service. So what I did was get hold of the prerequisites, the criteria that PADI needs to see satisfied in order to give the 5-star designation, to see where this promise of higher service or higher quality is coming from. So here are some of the key requirements to become a PADI 5-star dive center. Firstly, you need to have been a renewed PADI dive center for at least 12 months and have no verified PADI quality assurance violations within that period, and no open quality assurance inquiries in progress. So what does that mean? That means that your dive center needs to have been with PADI for at least 2 years. And as for the have no verified quality assurance violations, I had to ask PADI what they meant by verified. On the PADI website, there is a very clear quality assurance flowchart chart that shows you how any complaints against a PADI dive center are handled, but at no point on that flowchart does it say this is when the claim is verified. So I reached out to PADI, and particularly their quality assurance department, and I asked them at what point is a complaint against the PADI dive center is considered to be verified, and I have yet to receive an answer. Qualification number 2 to be a PADI 5-star dive center is to continue to meet all PADI dive center prerequisites and membership requirements. So basically, to be a PADI 5-star dive center, you need to be a PADI dive center and you need to be up to date on your membership, i.e. up to date on paying PADI your membership fee. Also, to be considered for the PADI 5-star dive center rating, you need to have collected all 3 of PADI's dive center recognition awards, and they are education, community, and environment. Now, I've looked online and I cannot find any kind of criteria or standards for these 3 awards. I can see them on the PADI site, they do exist, but I can't find what the criteria are that qualifies you to receive these recognition awards. So if you know, or even if you have a better guess than I do, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, to be a PADI 5-star dive center, you need to distribute regular communication pieces designed to recruit and retain customers. You mean we need to advertise our dive center? Well, that's just a good business idea anyway. And again, I'm not seeing any quality standards here. Also, you need to have conducted at least 1 advanced open water course, 1 PADI rescue diver course, 1 PADI dive master or assistant instructor course, and 1 PADI specialty diver course throughout the year. Again, I'm not seeing any promises of quality here. I'm not seeing any service standards here. I'm just seeing keep selling courses, keep selling courses. It's like if we ranked hotels on how many rooms they were able to sell. Oh, you're a 5-star hotel. You sold a ton of rooms. You also have to have issued 30% of all certificates at above open water level. Keep selling courses. To be a PADI 5-star dive center, you need to display items promoting dive travel and promote dive experiences through various activities. I mean, could that be more vague? Through various activities. Display items promoting travel. What, like the ticket stub from my last boarding pass? I would hope you're promoting diving experiences, otherwise close your door. You need to conduct non-training related local dive tours and or dive travel trips. So basically you need to offer diving. Again, no talk about what quality these trips need to be or what quality the diving needs to be. You can be 5 stars and offer the worst experience. Now we're getting down to the business end of the list, ladies and gentlemen, the fine print at the bottom. To be a PADI 5-star dive center, you need to exclusively issue and advertise only PADI certifications for recreational scuba diving courses. Which means as a dive center, you can't offer courses by any other agency, which in turn means you're restricting the choice of your customer base, which is basically the exact opposite of quality, because one of the hallmarks for 5-star service in my mind is variety, being able to choose. What PADI's saying is no, you have PADI or it's not 5-star. Lastly, for the 5-star designation, you are not allowed to conduct, sponsor or advertise any non-PADI recreational scuba instructor training programs. They do not want you making instructors for other agencies. Drink your Kool-Aid, love your Kool-Aid. The point that I'm making here is not a subtle one. Technically speaking, you could have a dive center with filthy toilets that never takes their trash out, with boat engines that are always breaking down, with rude staff members, and they can still advertise and operate themselves as a 5-star dive center. What PADI is basically saying is that if you commit to us and you give us exclusivity and you only teach PADI and you drink the PADI Kool-Aid, that we will let you slap a 5-star designation on your dive center, which will be good for your business and in turn earn PADI more money. Because I did a little research here in South Florida and I looked at the cost to go diving with the PADI 5-star dive centers and I looked at the cost to go diving with just the regular PADI dive centers, and there was no difference at all. I would expect to pay more for 5 stars. I expect to pay more for a 5-star hotel because I expect the service to be better. So I wanted to make this video for you, the diving public, so that when you're looking for a dive center, do not be fooled by that 5-star designation. It doesn't mean anything to you. It is not a sign that you're going to get better service. It is not a sign that the dive center is somehow higher quality. It is just a marketing ploy by PADI. So you know me by now, I want to put a positive spin on everything. Let's right now rewrite the standards for what a 5-star dive center should be. So let's separate this into 2 lists. Number 1 is going to be facilities. When I think of a 5-star hotel, it's got a spa, it's got a great restaurant, it's got a swimming pool. It's got things that make it better than your average crappy roadside motel. So what facilities should a dive center have to be considered a 5-star dive center? Well, first off, I believe it should offer retail and it should offer service. Even if it's just a small retail center that just covers the basics, mask straps, fin straps, things you might need when you're on vacation, so you don't have to like troll into town to buy a fin strap. And service, because things happen and your gear might not survive the flight to whatever your destination is, and you might need some repair or some service. I would want the whole place to be immaculately clean, from the front door to the boats. You think of a 5-star hotel, you think of the white glove treatment. There's no reason we can't apply that to dive centers. I want them to do something more than talk the talk when it comes to environmental awareness. I want to make sure that they are actually actively supporting, participating in reef cleanups and dive against debris and beach cleanups or whatever is appropriate in their area, but they're having some kind of a positive impact on the environment in their immediate locale. Maintenance is a huge thing for 5-star hotels. We don't expect things to not break, but obviously preventative maintenance when you can to make sure the least amount of stuff breaks, and then when you ever have a utility or a function that goes out of order, that it's attended to quickly. Their scuba rental fleet of equipment should be immaculate. It should be very well maintained. At the first sign that the BCD pockets are starting to discolor or fray, they should be replaced. Regulators should be serviced way more regularly than the standard every 2 years. And then let's think about some of those guest facilities that are just nice to have. Freshwater showers are great. Rinse tanks where the water is actually changed and they don't smell like yesterday's wetsuit piss. Great, you offer guest storage, but is it aerated? Or are you going to put my stuff in a plastic box and leave it in a hot shed so that when I come back to it the next day it just smells funky? So that's the facilities list. Now let's go on and talk about the service. Smile and greet your guests by their name whenever you can. Name recognition is such a big thing in the hotel industry. There's no reason we can't apply it to dive centers. Next piece of service I think qualifies for 5-star is that your gear is carried to the boat and some kind of assistance in setting your gear up is offered. Don't get me started on valet service. We don't have the time. That's a whole separate video. If they have a selection of beverages on board other than just water, I expect all dive centers to have water on board. Dehydration is the #1 cause of DCS, but I always appreciate it when you come on board and there's fruit punch or there's cans of soda or just some kind of variety. I mean, I drink water on a dive boat, I don't drink soda, but I appreciate it that somebody put it out there, and I'm sure other people appreciate it. Fruit and snacks, and particularly if it's a long boat ride or like a longer than a half-day trip, it's always nice when they provide some kind of variety in their refreshments. And of course, if you're staying at a resort, that little towel service is always deluxe. I've even had it on dive boats at very, very nice dive resorts in the Caribbean where you get offered a little cold chilled towel for your hands and your face after a dive. That is truly 5 stars and very, very nice. I think the booking process for dive centers, to be 5 stars, you have to be responsive. You've got to reply within 12 hours. You've got to be clear and concise in your communication. You've got to be upfront about what your deposit requirements are, what your cancellation policy is. And I think it's very hard to do 5-star level of dive service if you are cattle herding onto boats. So the smaller groups, the smaller boats, personalized instruction is always going to be better service than 1 instructor and 8 students. So these are just things off the top of my head that I would consider quality standards and that for me would separate a designated 5-star dive center from just a regular dive center. I want to know what I missed. What service have you received at a dive center that has completely blown you away? Let me know in the comments below. I really want to hear these things. Oh, I wasn't going to do this, but what the hell. As a bonus, let me give you one other PADI scam. Elite dive instructor. Take a second right now and picture the word elite in your mind and try to bring up an image that you would associate with the word elite. Now let me read to you PADI's definition of what an elite scuba diving instructor is. PADI instructors who issue 50, 100, 150, 200 or 300 qualifying certifications in a calendar year and who have no verified quality management violations within 12 months of the date of the award will be recognized with the Elite Instructor Award. So again, it's a numbers game. Again, there is no promise as to what quality these students are, just as long as that instructor keeps pumping those numbers out. Yeah, but an elite instructor has no quality management violations. Well, neither do 99% of all dive instructors. That's like saying that your high school teacher was elite because they didn't have a criminal record. It devalues the word elite. Now, psychologically, what that does is if an instructor wants to achieve elite status, they're forced to satisfy a quota. And that's dangerous because maybe those instructors are certifying, passing people for scuba courses that they're really not up to the standard. If you don't see the danger in that, I probably can't help you. If I took over PADI, day 1 in the job, elite status instructors, gone. 5-star dive centers, gone. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this content and check out some of the other videos on our channel. And I'll put a playlist right here for our Mouthpiece Monday videos. And just down there is our series from our trip to Grand Cayman. You are all 5 stars in my heart. Thank you so much for watching. My name's James. This was your Divers Ready Mouthpiece Monday for this week. Dive safe, dive often.